Hey everyone, Josiah Creighton here, and today I am making a Lawl Aureus tier list, however you pronounce it, and I will start from the bottom and to the top. Now, from the bottom we have currently not out yet. As I'm making this video, these characters in the not out yet tier are, well, of what else, not out yet, so I can't rank them based off of that. But I may update my tier list if they do come out. And there's no one in trash tier either because no one's absolutely terrible, which proves how good this Lawl is. But anyways, enough praising. Let's move on to the actual tier list part. Starting off in bad tier as the worst character, we have Michael P. Now, some may say this is wrong, but this is my tier list, so I'm going to prove why he isn't that good. For starters, his neutral special is a mixed bag of quality. Like, the stick figure is probably the worst move in this entire Lawl since it's very weak, has little health, and isn't that practical for Michael to even use. If anything, he's at a disadvantage summoning it. And the unregistered Hypercam 2 may seem good, but you have to take a picture of an attack without being hit, and then you have to use the attack in front of your opponents, and it doesn't have that much of a range, since it doesn't go out for that far when using it. So that may be a little bit too critical. Anyways. His bomb from his neutral special is pretty solid, but certain reflectors like Randy's side special can counter this pretty easily, and it's a mostly predictable trap, and even if it is powerful. But the best one is probably the Christian censorship card, since it can disable traps and stun opponents, but it's nothing more than that. His side special may seem like a good horizontal recovery to some, but I'm against that, since if an opponent is able to hit Michael off of the thing, it does heavy backlash, meaning that if you do a strong aerial move against him while in the air while he's using it, he's pretty much KO'd for sure. And his up special doesn't go as far as it should. It's just a small hop, though it may not be. I'll look back on that soon. And his down special, it's a pretty situational counter since it can't reflect projectiles. So literally any projectile user, which this Lawl is full of, can interrupt Michael's down special pretty easily. Even then, Michael has a pretty solid standard move kit, so he's not trash. Now we move up to okay or good tier. Next up we have Randy. His neutral special, it's a pretty good move since when drunk, his attacks are laggier but do a lot more damage, which allows him to get easier kills. And he can throw the beer bottles if he's not drinking them in order to start up combos. But if an opponent hits him while he's drinking, this can interrupt it. So as long as you hit him with a projectile or a quick attack, then he won't be able to power up his moves. His side special is able to, depending on what drunk level he is, he's able to fling out food that can heal him and his teammates, or take projectiles from opponents. His up special is a pretty solid recovery move, which is mostly why he gets above Michael. And his down special is a kind of situational move since the damage isn't that high unless you do the ring trick with it. And and the reason why he's not any higher is because if someone's able to constantly keep attacking him when he's trying to drink, which improves his moves, then he will not be able to do as good as he normally could. But even then, when drunk, his moves are really good. But when interrupted, it cannot go as well for him. Now we move on to Mediocre, the king of projectiles, since practically all his moves involve projectiles. Starting off with this neutral special, the insults are pretty good against shields since, words can hurt. And if you charge them up, it's an instant shield breaker, I'm pretty sure. But Meaningless won't be able to use this over and over as the range will get less and less far, and it doesn't do that much damage on its own. But what it is able to do is weaken opponent's defense so its attacks do more damage. Though it doesn't do as much damage, but it doesn't do that much more damage. And his side special, Flat Earth, is a pretty mixed move since opponents can reflect it back with practically any standard move. And it's a pretty predictable boomerang attack. but it does do good damage, and Mimulus is able to dodge it if opponents reflect it. And when it's coming back to him after being reflected or just coming back normally, it does do a lot of knockback, which is good. His up special is a pretty far recovery, and he can use projectiles on it, which do not have cooldowns or shorted range or anything like that, but it's pretty hard to hit with it because of how fast Mimulus is when using the up special broom. Even then, it's a pretty good projectile to poke opponents with, and it can spike or bury opponents. And his down special isn't that good of a move, since the bin weevils are pretty predictable, since the first one is weak and doesn't do that much for Mimulus. The second one, the hopping, does more damage than the one that runs around, but it's still not that good. But the best one to be that is the bin weevil that drives the car, since it goes the fastest and does the most damage. But you have to go through a predictable cycle in order to activate it. So yeah, that's practically everything for Mimulus. And now we have Scratch Cat. We get into the great tier, and Scratch Cat is at the edge of it for a few reasons. His neutral special allows him to screw with his opponents, which adds to his boss character playstyle, since he can make them taunt, he can make them move, and he can stun them by making them wear a different alternate costume. Tons of stuff like that, which is pretty useful putting him here. And if someone is hit by these, he can turn them into a remixer or a remaster, whatever you call it, in order to have them use special moves that can fill up his meter that allow him to use down special, which I will get to. His side special is probably his best move, since it lowers his weight without, it makes him more heavy without screwing with his speed too much, since he's a light character. I mean, look at his size. And he can store traps. He can take traps in there or scripts inside of the bag. Though he's not able to move with it, I'm pretty sure, unless you trap things with it. So it's not exactly really good, but it's probably the best out of his kit. His up special is a solid recovery move that has good combos into it, though it can come off as a bit predictable. Though he's able to grab his backpack with it, which is pretty useful if you ask me. Though his down special is where his moveset falls apart, since that's the main glue of the moveset that holds it together. Since Scratch Cat's remixers that he can use for his neutral special actually come into play here. Since depending on how good the special move is from the remixer, he's able to fill up a meter that allows him to make a clone of them. And the clone is not all that good. Like, if the bar is full, then yes, it can use attacks and run around and jump. But that's only if the bar is full. If not, it's easily destroyable. And Angelo, who I will get to later, completely destroys this with his neutral special. But anyway, Scratch Cat is a mixed bag of quality. But with his good boss elements like his neutral special and solid recovery, his mostly bad moves are overshadowed by them. Now we get to DKS, probably the most surprising character. His neutral special is a really good grab sort of move, since DKS is able to move around with it, and it can grab items and opponents, but if he uses it for too long, it blows up, damaging him and the opponent. But it's still a mostly useful suck-up attack. His side special, the NES, it does good damage when thrown, but, of course, that's not what it's used for. Pressing side special has it suck up opponents, which is a good move, which is useful since it does punishing damage. Though, there's another variant, I forgot how to use it, which is as punishing as the other variant. But, it's a mostly good move since opponents get pixelized that have them trip up, which allows him to punish them. And his up special is, the DKS spin, which is a pretty good up special since it goes far. Opponents who try to attack him while using it get dizzy, and opponents who touch him but don't attack him take pretty good damage. It's an overall solid up special. But the reason DKS isn't any higher, apart from the neutral special backfiring on him and the side special being a slightly predictable trap, is the down special. Now, DKS's leg is a pretty good projectile, and since it comes back to him when he hits with it, it's pretty easy to get the 3 hits, which allows him to use the robot leg. But even then, the leg is pretty easy to dodge. You can shield it well. You can shield it. He hasn't clarified if you it hasn't been clarified if DKS can use the one of the throws he does counts if someone shields the throw. And when it falls off stage, he gets the leg back, but it resets all of his throws. And even then, when he gets the robot leg, it's a pretty predictable move. So overall, DKS is great, but not any higher. Now we get to the first character, Private Stick Figure, who's a personal favorite in my opinion. But anyways, his neutral special has a lot of bullets it can shoot. In the air, it's even stronger, so aerial approaches against them aren't that easy. And his side special does a lot, and I mean a lot, of knockback to opponents. It sends them flying, and he can do it in any direction, making it a recovery move. Speaking of, his up special isn't that fast, so his side special takes care of the recovery problem. But even then, his up special is a pretty good move since he can attack with it. And the ladder goes straight down, so other opponents can't climb on it. But how would they be able to climb on it in the air? Anyways, other opponents can use the ladder on the ground, though. But Private Stick Figure's least useful move is doors, which is why he's not any higher. The doors are pretty situational. They're just practically Chell's portals, but not as useful since you can only place them on the ground. And while opening a door near an opponent does do a critical hit, if an opponent goes through another door as the critical hit hits them, as shown in the video, it won't do as much knockback as it normally should, which is a little contradicting if you ask me. But that's about it. And topping off the great section, we have Minecraft Awesome Parody Steve. Now he's pretty high up since his potions are very useful. The jump one gives him a high jump boost to help with his mostly short recovery. The speed one gives him a stronger dash attack and a good speed boost. And those are just the ones that buff him. I haven't gone over all of them since there's also one that can heal him. And there's also ones that damage opponents, like slowing them down, giving them weight, or simply damaging them, which allows him to get in easy combos. His side special is probably a pretty situational move, since the trap, as a trap against opponents, it's predictable, but as a healing move, it's pretty solid, since he can place 2 of them for his teammates, or teammate. His up special can ban the last move an opponent did, which is pretty useful, well, if it's not up special. But the problem with it is that it's short range. It has a really short range in the air, and the shockwaves don't come up in the air. So the jump potion takes care of that nicely, though. And his down special, while being pretty situational, is a pretty good combo move and can heal opponents just like his side special. But overall, his kit is really good, and the potions take care of any stat problems he has, even if they have cooldowns. And finally, we have the 2 characters who absolutely dominate the metagame, starting with Mike Chewing Kid, or Matthew. Now, Xbox, the lava trap can not only disable other traps and damage opponents, but it also becomes, well, a fiery trap. Xbox also helps Matthew with combos easily, and Xbox and Matthew are really good at rushing down opponents with the combos he's able to perform. Not to mention, Xbox's smash attacks are pretty good disjoints from what we've seen so far with the axe and the bat as up smash and side smash. And even then, Xbox's cooldown isn't that long, is fairly long for something that's really good. His side special is also a really busted move, since the golden apples do more damage when they're in Matthew's pants. They also slow down opponents, which allows him to rush down opponents easier. And it'll stay on them forever unless they take it off through damaging it, or if they get KO'd. Meaning that as long as you're able to rush down your opponents and not let them hit it off, you can keep that on them forever until they're KO'd, which is very useful. His up special not only stunts opponents and reflects projectiles, making him hard to approach when spamming it, but it also is a really good recovery option. And last but not least, Matthew's down special is also really useful, since the poop can slip opponents who are running and trap opponents who are walking into it. So it allows him to get his golden apples on opponents and easily trap them better than he normally could. With all these good trap options and great rushdown options, Matthew is the second best character in the game. But the one who dominates the entire metagame is none other than Angelo. So here we go. His neutral special can, for starters, summon big boxes of memes, I believe, that are not only big hit boxes, but also great platforms that do take a good amount of damage to destroy. And Angelo can summon 2 of these, making them pretty good defense options. And that's not all his neutral special does. It can also suck up any assist trophies and turn them into his down special Panini, which is really good in my opinion, since it completely screws over Scratch Cat's down special clones. His side special is a great movement option, and if someone hits him out of the Big Mac, not only will it keep going, it'll also keep the damaging hitbox it does. And the projectile regular variant is still pretty good since it comes out fast and can be angled in 3 different directions, which is good. His up special not only travels far when fully charged, but he also gets a 3rd jump even if when it's uncharged, meaning he can use that 3rd jump for something like continuing aerial combos. Also, if he sprays someone with the water from his up special on the ground, it will give them a face which makes them heavier for 10 seconds or until they're KO'd, which is very useful since you can pressure opponents who are in the air, since they'll become heavier. And his down special Panini is a pretty good move since it stunts opponents depending on their stats. And on top of that, she can also grab items for Angelo and damage opponents, and he can summon her apart without down special by using the neutral special, which again can screw with a lot of assist trophies, like Xbox, which can screw with a lot of assists, which a lot of the characters have, which might screw up some of their attacks, like Michael Stickman or Manuelus's Bin Weevils, or Scratch Cat's clones, or Matthew's Xbox with Matthew. Angelo has a lot of moves to counter a lot of the roster, making him the best character in my opinion. Also, although I don't count the final smashes since, competitive play in Smash doesn't use those, it's a really busted final smash. And that's all of them. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? I hope this tier list has helped the creative Lawl Aureus. I'm sorry, I forgot your channel name as of now. Shreckles, yeah. I hope this helps Shreckles with his Lawl Aureus update patch. And hopefully I did not make this too late. I have been trying to get it out. So yeah, Josiah Creighton out.